Hi, welcome to our channel Everyday Movie Recap. For today, we will recap a horror film called Smile from the year 2022. The story revolves around a psychiatrist who becomes increasingly convinced she is being threatened by an evil entity. Have you seen this movie yet? If not, sit back, relax, and hold on to your seats. The movie begins with Rose, who enters her mother's room and sees her lifeless body lying on the ground. On the floor, bottles of medicines are lying around. The adult Rose then jerks awake. She is now a full-fledged therapist and has sessions with all kinds of patients, including someone named Carl. Carl is a crazy person who constantly mutters about people dying and that he is next to die. Rose tries to comfort Carl, telling him that even if his experiences feel genuine, they can't be harmful. Carl, though, doesn't seem to be getting better. Soon afterward, a call for an appointment with Laura Weaver, a young woman, is received by Rose. Laura's involvement in an event the previous week is mentioned by the doctor, who updates Rose on her case. Laura was the lone witness to a professor at her school brutally killing himself with a hammer. In that incident, Laura is curled up in a corner when Rose visits her. Rose introduces herself, tries to reassure Laura, and asks about her past. Laura says she sees things that others cannot, mimicking different kinds of people, including the ones she knows. Laura gives Rose a negative response when she asks whether she can see it at the moment. Laura responds, "It smiles, but not in a friendly way." When asked what occurs when she sees it, she claims that it gives her information and that she will die today. Rose tries to comfort her and explains that sometimes after enduring severe stress, our minds tend to imagine things. However, Laura starts to panic and become frightened after looking away from Rose and back. Upon realizing that no one is around, Rose calls for assistance after noticing Laura's condition. However, when she turns to face Laura again, she notices that Laura has taken a shattered piece of a vase and is grinning strangely. Rose is left in disbelief as she begins to slit her throat and ends her life. Help comes, but it is already too late as she is already dead. Rose later speaks with two detectives to get more information about what happened. One of the detective used to be her boyfriend. She informs them that Laura is experiencing illusions of paranoia, but Rose is starting to believe that she truly was haunted by an evil entity. Rose then heads to the house, shaken by what had happened that day. Just then, she sees Laura creepily smiling at her. Trevor, her current boyfriend, startles her and asks what's wrong, to which Rose responds that one of her patients passed away at work. When Rose and Trevor dine with her sister Holly and her husband Greg the next evening, Holly chastises Rose for missing her son Jackson's coming birthday. However, Rose responds angrily because she is still shocked by Laura's death. The following day, Rose stops by the front desk to get the police report on other Laura-related incident. She gets a call from her sister Holly while she is reading the report, and they both apologize for their earlier fight. Rose seems to glimpse someone who looks like Laura in the distance as she looks out the window. Holly requests that Rose get Jackson at least a birthday present. The following morning, Rose returns to his room. Passing by Carl's room, she sees him grinning creepily, similar to Laura's. Carl tells her over and over that she is going to die when she tries to speak with him. Rose, in distress, asks for assistance, but to her astonishment, staff members discover Carl sleeping. Dr. Morgan Desai, Rose's supervisor, gives her a compensated week off and shows concern for her mental health. Rose visits a store to pick up a present for Jackson while heading back home. It's that night at home when the security alarm goes off without warning, startling her. After turning off the alarm, she notices that her house's back door is open. Abruptly, a woman answers the phone and claims to be from the security service. The voice changes into a malicious entity and begins asking her questions. It then tells her to look behind her. The phone rang once again, scaring Rose. She later hears an odd voice on Laura's recording while listening to it. Rose becomes terrified as she turns up the volume and hears her name. Laura appears to haunt her. After hearing her screams, Trevor arrives and is surprised to see Rose holding a knife. He tells her to calm down. The next day, Rose confides in her therapist, Dr. Madeline, about her disturbing events in an attempt to get advice. Madeline asks Rose if she still holds herself responsible for her mother's suicide and speculates that the reason she feels depressed may be related to it. Rose reveals that she has been hearing and seeing things, primarily Laura, ever since her tragedy. Madeline tells Rose that this situation is probably the result of long-standing fears being rekindled by Laura's incident. Rose goes to Jackson's birthday celebration over the weekend. Expecting a toy train, Jackson opens her gift only to discover Kat's lifeless body. Rose is horrified and tries to reassure everyone that she isn't the cause of this, but in the midst of the confusion, she sees one of the other mothers smiling evilly, a grin that other people don't see. In her surprise, she trips over a table. She is promptly taken to the hospital for medical aid. After hearing about Rose's incident, Morgan goes to see her and advises that she take a break from her job. Rose tries to explain to Trevor that a bad spirit or energy is attacking her, having harmed Laura and is now coming after her. Trevor, on the other hand, brushes her off, saying she's crazy and accuses her of killing their cat. Rose then begins her own investigation regarding Laura's case. She first seeks information about her professor Gabriel Munoz. She does more research when she hears a faint voice. She then sees her dead mother behind her. The following day, Rose goes to meet Victoria, Gabriel's wife, who tells Rose that Gabriel claimed to have seen haunting visions before going missing and then being discovered dead. These were visions that Gabriel had described as an entity trying to enter his mind. Victoria shows some drawings and a painting that Rose made on Gabriel's experiences. Gabriel started seeing visions after seeing a woman commit self-kill, Victoria added. Rose says she's had similar situations, but Victoria misinterprets and thinks Rose is making fun of her tragedy. She then orders her out. Joel is then consulted by Rose in an attempt to get his assistance with her research. She specifically asks him to see if he can learn if Gabriel has been mentioned in any police reports. He reluctantly agrees and gets information about Angela Powell, who removes her own eyes before dying. Upon seeing her photo, she is taken aback and requests that he search for Angela as well. He looks deeper and informs her that Angela witnessed another man commit suicide. The evidence for this is surveillance tape from a petrol station, where a man stabbed himself in front of Angela. When they reverse the video, they notice the man's face has an evil smile on it. Rose gets home to see that Trevor has scheduled a house visit with Madeline because they are worried about Rose's mental health. Rose lashes out at Trevor, telling him that he is more worried about how she would make him look, and she storms out, ending their relationship. After that, she goes to see Holly and declares that she is cursed. She tells her how Laura brought it to her. But Holly responds that she's suffering a mental breakdown and that this is just what occurred with their mother. Rose retorts, saying that she had to take care of their mother till the very end and that she had never tried to be there for her. Rose returns to the car and thinks she sees Holly approaching her again. But it's simply the evil entity that's after her. Joel phones her that night to inform her that he discovered 20 identical cases involving 19 victim suicides, and every case has one thing in common. Robert, one of the victims, killed an unknown woman 4 days later. However, the murder's eyewitness also took her own life, and the pattern continued. Joel and Rose pay Robert a visit in jail, during which Rose tells him falsely that she is a patient. After a guy committed suicide in front of her 4 days ago, she started seeing things that impersonate other people. In exchange for telling her everything he knows, Robert requests her to have the policeman leave. Robert now reveals, following Joel's departure, that the only way to break the link is to murder someone else in front of a witness, to whom the curse will be transferred. Robert loses it when Rose informs him she can't kill anyone because he believes Rose brought the thing with her, requiring him to be restrained. She now gets a call from Madeline when she gets home, but she doesn't answer it. Trevor texts her later, saying they should have a conversation. She has to persuade her that she is not a threat when Madeline pays her a visit. She is now in the middle of an unplanned therapy session when the phone rings and Rose is shocked to hear Madeline on the other end. This turns out to be the demon in disguise. It grins and tells her that her time is almost up. Rose drives to work holding a knife because she feels helpless. After entering the building and discovering Carl's room, Carl looks back and becomes frightened. After trying to soothe him, Rose stabs Carl repeatedly with the knife, which is when Morgan bursts in. But this is all just Rose's nightmare when she nodded off in her car. Morgan then arrives and invites her to come inside. She refuses and leaves. Joel calls, and she informs him that she must isolate herself to prevent the evil from spreading to other people. Joel calls to find out where she is, but she ends the call. There is no electricity when she arrives at the house from when she was a child. This is the same place where her mom committed self-kill. Upon entering her mother's room, a flashback of Rose's early years, in which her mother begs her to call for help but Rose refuses and flees. From inside the dark room, she sees her mother crying. She stands up and apologizes for not being a better mother to her. When she asks Rose whether she feels guilty about not saving her, she responds that she was scared of her and that she was a monster. She claimed that she has lived her entire life carrying the guilt of her death and that she must finally let go. When Rose asks the entity why she is doing this to her, it replies that it is because her mind is so attractive. At that point, the creature begins to smile. The creature then transforms into a towering, long-haired, grotesque representation of her creepily smiling mother. Rose fights back, breaking its arm and setting it on fire with a lantern before fleeing the house as it burns. The creature follows her and attacks her, telling her she can't escape her own thoughts. She then visits Joel's apartment and expresses her regret for including him in all of this and for treating him unfairly in their relationship. When she asks whether he will guard her while she sleeps, Joel responds that he will and gives her a sinister smile. She escapes the house, only to find herself back outside her mother's house. Rose panics and retreats inside the house as Joel arrives and calls her out. Once more, Rose runs into the thing within the house. Joel tells her to unlock the door. The thing gets closer, opens its wide mouth, and proceeds to enter Rose's mouth. Joel bursts through the door, goes inside, and discovers Rose pouring gasoline all over herself. The movie ends as she turns around and ignites herself on fire in front of Joel, all while flashing her own horrifying smile. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoy this movie. For more content like this, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. See you tomorrow on our next video.